Welcome folks, welcome to the channel. And I'm Peter, and this behind me is my 1992 Suzuki GS 500. If you go back on the channel, you can see that we did one of these GS 500s already. And this time we bought this 1992 that's wrapped in carbon fiber, faux carbon fiber I should say, wrap. And I bought it for $300, and this bike doesn't have spark. So I did my preliminary checks and I connected the battery. So as you can see, the battery is in, and I disconnected the gauges, and as you can see, the battery is so dead that nothing turns on. But when it did, the neutral light was out. So I put a temporary bulb. This is a bigger bulb that it should have, and gave it a crank, but it has no spark. And the story on this is that the guy was selling it. Some young kid came and looked at it. The bike stalled out. The battery was dead. They tried to jump start it, and they switched the polarity on the jumper cables, and that was the end of the spark for this bike. So this bike is pretty scarce on electricity, on electric components I should say. There is only 2 coils, CDI unit, and 2 pickup coils on the magneto. Well, better say on the right side of the crank. This is not on the magneto itself. Throughout the years I'm doing this job, I had like 10, maybe more of these GS 500s. But because I'm so cheap, my prices are so cheap, I sell these parts very quickly. So unfortunately I do not have the ECM, the ECU, which is what I think is fried on this bike, because there is nothing more to fry. So first issue I have is that I don't have the ECU. And the second issue I have, this is not the standard ECU connector. As you can see, somebody had an aftermarket unit. You can't see it probably, but we will see it once I remove the plastics. So what does it mean for us? We need to get the ECU. We need to change the whole wiring harness over to the standard, and then reconnect everything, and hopefully this bike will have spark. We have to check the oil, make sure there isn't any in there, and if we have oil, then hopefully we have some gas, which we does, then we can start it. So let's start sourcing the ECU. So we went on Craigslist-like website where you can post your parts and bikes for sale, and I found one ECM for $40. And while I was typing the phone number into my phone, the phone said I have already spoke with that guy. So I pulled up the SMS messages that I had with him, and of course this guy wants to buy from me an stator from Kawasaki 600 Ninja. So I gave him a call, and we ended up making a deal on swapping those parts, no charge. So let's wait for this to arrive in mail. Alright, the package is here. I ripped off the addresses, so let's take a look what we got. So this, and it should be the last, and here we go. And what do we have here? We have our ECM, and this is what the ECM is supposed to look like. So let's go upstairs and let's find ourselves a wiring harness, and let's start working on this bike. Into the haunted castle we go. By the way, the electricity is maybe coming. I had a company here. They will do me a quote today, and if I accept it, they will start digging with their excavators Friday early morning. So I hope in the next video I can show you my new electricity. So as you can see here, we have a slew of GS electric parts, but no ECM. So let's grab one of these harnesses. Well guys, look who's the big dummy. I had this ECM all time along and I didn't know about it. Well, guess who has a mess in his inventory system? Me. Oh well, we have to. Alright, the hardest part of this job is to fish through all these connectors through this hole, and that's done. Now we need to disconnect the horn, if I can manage that. Come on, horn. You know you're horny. That was a bad joke. So the horn is off, and now we need to take off the tank, the battery, disconnect this, which is the rear light, and disconnect the rectifier regulator, fish the old harness out, the new one in, and we are ready to go. Also, this backing plate is metal. Usually they are plastic, or there is some type of epoxy sealing the unit, not just the metal plating. And the last. And now we can crack this open and reveal the yumminess inside. Let me smell it. Yeah, it smells kinda funky. But I don't see anything visibly wrong with it. There's a bit of moisture in there, but many of these little resistors and transistors and all that stuff could fail. So let's reinstall the new harness, and let's test it. Alright, everything should be connected except two things: one turn signal and the starter relay. So let's plug in the starter relay. and see if this will do something. Let's turn on the hummingbird and let's watch the bulb there. Voila, we got bulbs. So let's test the turn signals, and do not have turn signals. So maybe I plugged this thing wrong. Hold on. Yeah, this thing was plugged wrong. We have turn signals, we have lights, and the moment of truth. Does it crank over? Oh, we lost our ground, or we lost our and yeah, it cranks. And the next question is, does it have spark? So watch the spark plug, please. Woohoo, it does have spark. That means we can put the tank on, we can put the choke on, and see if this thing will come to life. We have plenty of gas in it. Okay, so we should have everything for this bike to start. So let's turn the hummingbird on, because the battery is completely junked. But I mean completely. The choke on, hummingbird on, cross your fingers. Here we go. The battery is so dead it doesn't want to crank. Right, let's try it again. Nope, that battery is junk. We need another one. So we've got the bigger and better battery. Jumper pack is on. The bike is on. The power is on. Cross your fingers. Here we go. Hey! Ooh. I had to shut it off because this bulb is melting the insulation here. Hot, 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 hot. So let's try it again. It runs nice and quiet. Doesn't smoke. Yeah, it does smoke, but smokes from the headers, I think. Let's open the doors. Yeah, it seems to be running fine, but it looks like it's overcharging. Let's rev it up and see. have a poor connection here. Let's see if we can fix that. Yeah, this regulator is definitely junk. Let me bring another one. Alright, my old junky looking regulator is on. This one, although it's brand new, 17 volts is not good for your battery. So let's see if this thing will start back up. And it won't. What an actual F! This bike doesn't want to crank anymore. Why so? I just unplugged and plugged this. Why it doesn't want to crank now? Well, I got the bike starting again. I think. Yeah, as you can see, it cranks. It will fire if I gave it a choke. What ended up happening here is that the bad regulator here is grounded through this wire, and it should go through the battery negative terminal. And the battery negative terminal is probably not well grounded because the whole bike is grounding through this rectifier. And this new rectifier is not grounded to its case. As you can see, I have the lead in the ground wire, and as you can see, nothing's happening. But if we go to the if we go to the second regulator and we stick the probe into the ground side and take our second lead and tap it on case, as you can see here, it's grounded. So that's why the bike doesn't run, and probably we have a wiring issue with the ground. I need to trace this ground cable, see where it goes, check that. But this is going to be it for this video. This is going to be it for this GS500. If you like this video, please share, comment, subscribe, give this video a like, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.